At 3:11 a.m. on a cold December night, the world changed forever quietly, silently, and without warning. Deep beneath the Nevada desert, inside the classified research facility known only as Site Epsilon, Dr. Rowan Hale stared at a strange quantum reading flickering across his monitor. At first, he thought it was just noise, cosmic radiation, atmospheric interference, or a malfunction somewhere in the system. But then the pattern repeated, precise and deliberate. Like a pulse from something thinking on the other side. 97 pulses. Then silence. Then 97 pulses again. Rowan leaned closer, confusion tightening in his chest. This wasn't random. This wasn't natural. It was too calculated to be an accident and too alien to be man-made. He reran the scan, cleared the system, recalibrated the sensors. Still, the pulses continued, growing sharper, stronger. As if they were responding to his attention, he checked the coordinates and felt his stomach drop. The signal wasn't coming from a star system, a nebula, a black hole, or even anywhere inside the observable universe. It came from a point beyond the cosmic boundary itself, outside the measurable limits of space. A region long theorized but never proven. A dead zone known to physicists as the null verge. Nothing was supposed to exist there. Yet, something did. Rowan's voice trembled slightly as he called the night team. Within minutes, the chamber filled with scientists, security officers, and analysts, rubbing the sleep from their eyes. The hum of servers and the cold metallic scent of machinery filled the air as everyone gathered around the monitors. They fed the signal into every cryptographic, linguistic, and mathematical translator they had. It took an hour of constant analysis before the waveform produced recognizable text. It wakes because of you. The words appeared in bold white letters on the screen, repeated over and over. A chilled silence settled over the room. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. It felt as if the message wasn't just on the monitors, it was inside the air itself, watching them. Before anyone could react, the lights flickered. The signal sharpened, rising in intensity. A low vibration rippled through the floor. Not mechanical, but alive. The air grew heavier, colder. Then another message appeared. Stop the tearing, Rowan's breath caught. He knew exactly what that meant. Only hours earlier, the team had conducted their largest test of the quantum muon experimental device. Designed to scan parallel universes by creating microscopic tears in space-time. They believed the tears were harmless, temporary, too small to last longer than a fraction of a second. But they were wrong. The quantum mirror had opened something. A crack, a wound, a weak point between realities. And whatever existed in the null verge had sensed it. The temperature in the room plummeted. Monitors frosted over. The screens flickered, static bursting like electric snow. A faint distortion appeared in the center of the chamber, small at first, no bigger than a marble. It twisted the air around it, bending the light. Warping the edges of reality with a soft, rhythmic pulse, Rowan stepped back, heart pounding. The distortion grew to the size of a fist. Then a baseball. Then a basketball. Its surface flickered with colors beyond anything natural, shades that seemed alive. Swirling in patterns that almost resembled thought. Inside the distortion, something moved. Not an object. Not a creature. Something in between. A shifting fluid form that had no fixed shape and yet somehow seemed aware of them. A presence pressing against the thin membrane of the rift. Someone gasped behind Rowan. Another scientist stepped too close. He didn't touch the distortion. He didn't need to. The moment he crossed an invisible boundary, his body unraveled like smoke. 1 second he existed. The next, he was simply gniased cleanly from reality without sound or violence. Screams erupted. The distortion pulsed violently. Then a third message burst across every screen. Overriding every system, the wall is weak. You must close the wound. Another line appeared beneath it. Slow and deliberate. Before IT enters, the distortion cracked wider, glowing with blue lightning. The thing inside pushed harder, its form bulging against the thinning barrier like a shadow trying to be born. Panic surged. The commander ordered an evacuation, but the doors slammed shut on their own. Locks engaged. Systems froze. The facility was no longer in their control. The lights dimmed. The distortion grew. The creature inside pressed through, and a small fraction of it slipped into the room, a tendril of translucent darkness dripping from the tier. Wherever it touched, the world bent and twisted, as if reality itself recoiled. Then it spoke, not aloud. Not through any device, it spoke directly into their minds. You opened the wound. You weakened the wall. I crossed a feed. Several scientists collapsed, clutching their skulls, blood running from their noses. Memories dissolved. Time flickered. Rowan felt the entity scraping across his thoughts like claws. Made of fog and lightning, he fought through the mental pressure and sprinted toward the energy controls. They had one chance: reroute the facility's entire power grid into the disruptor core. It could force the rift closed, or it could blow the entire site off the map. There was no time to weigh the risks. He shouted instructions. The team moved on instinct, ripping open panels, connecting cables by hand, sparks flying as circuits overloaded. The hum beneath the floor grew louder, shaking the concrete, the vibration rising like a scream. The entity pushed farther into the room. Gravity bent around it. Metal twisted. Lights shattered. The creature's presence sucked the warmth, the air, the very sanity out of the chamber. Rowan felt it clawing at his memories, tearing pieces of his life away: his mother's voice, his first day in the lab, the ocean breeze all flickering like dying flames. He slammed the final breaker into place. A massive surge of energy roared through the floor. "Hold on," he shouted. The disruptor core exploded in white light. The rift convulsed violently. The entity screamed a terrible multi-voiced cry that echoed inside their skulls. Space folded inward, collapsing like crushed paper. The creature was dragged backward, ripping free from their world as the wound slammed shut with a thunderous silence. Rowan fell to the floor. Everything went black. When he opened his eyes, the chamber was quiet. Emergency lights flickered weakly. Smoke drifted through the ruined room. Equipment was melted. Floors cracked. A few survivors groaned, struggling to stand. The distortion was gone. The wound was closed. The creature was gone. They had saved the world. The government sealed off the site. The quantum mirror was dismantled, destroyed, erased from all records. The public never learned what nearly entered their universe that night. Rowan spent months recovering mentally, physically, emotionally from the psychic scars the creature had carved into his mind. One afternoon, long after the incident, Rowan returned to the ruins of Site Epsilon. The underground chamber was dark and cold, stripped of all equipment. Only the faint scorch marks on the floor remained, silent reminders of what had happened. He exhaled slowly. Relieved that the nightmare was truly over, he turned to leave. Then a faint pulse echoed through the dead. Rowan froze. A dusty, disconnected monitor in the corner flickered to life despite having no power. Static danced across the screen, followed by a single line of text: "Thank you for closing the wound." Rowan felt a tremor of relief, but then the screen glitched, and a second line appeared underneath. "But another has opened." The screen cracked from the inside, and the chamber went completely dark. Forever.